Good afternoon, everyone. It is 2:01 p.m. of the best time zone in the world, Eastern Standard Time. It is January 22nd, 2026, the year of our Lord. Welcome to Scouching Live. As I forget to turn my light on. All right, the light is now on. We can actually do the show now. This is the type of preparation you get on a Thursday afternoon. We have producer AJ on the line. So AJ is here. We have brought him back from his busy schedule, his real world life, and he's been so he's been so gracious with all of his with his time today. So welcome to the show. How have you been? How are things? What's going on? You know,
I'm doing all right. But soon I'm gonna have to be covering a lot of overnight shifts.
Yeah,
that's what happens. But it's okay.
You're winding up. You're spooling up. You're resting up. You're charging the batteries.
Unexpectedly, but hey, those overnight shifts, I actually put in a lot of work on editing projects. So maybe more game tapes. There will be one coming out tomorrow for everybody, and as soon as this stream's done, hopefully, if I remember to, we will upload the Victor Plot game tape for subscribers only.
Yes,
and then it'll go up tomorrow.
Yes,
it's been done for 2 weeks, and I just forgot to hit export.
It happens. It happens. But we have we have a really fun show today. I mean, AJ and I have been banging through some guys for the last little while, and
they're all terrible. I hate them all.
we've done a few little games here and there, checking out some of the talent this year. We're dipping AJ's toes into the pool because it is about the time of the year where that needs to start to happen. But anyway, yes, but I was going to say, if you want access to that game tape that's coming out, Victor Plot, we're a big fan of him at the show here. If you want to see it, it's available for subscribers at scouching.ca first. There's a couple more coming after the stream. Yes, not now, but after the stream. And I'll be recording video rooms tomorrow morning probably. So we'll start to pump those out over the next week or so. So that'll be a lot of fun. Everybody loves those.
Scouching season is coming,
yeah,
guys.
Scouching season has started. We're starting to get in there. I think I think there's a player that I've now crossed 5 games of data on, which generally means we're getting real close. Oh no, sorry. I haven't done 5 for anyone, but I downloaded someone's 5th last night, which is a pretty major benchmark. It means we're starting to get down to the nitty-gritty here, which is kind of mind-blowing because it feels like things just started out yesterday. But I guess
really ready to tell you all your favorites are terrible.
Yeah.
That's what this benchmark is.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're a fan of a team that I don't like, you know, if you're a fan of a team that is in a place that I don't like, then I'm gonna it's gonna be awful. I'm gonna be brutal. No, I'm kidding.
Ottawa Senators fans, you're looking at you.
Hey, you know what? Look, the Senators fans have been through enough, I think now. It's been a rough year. I don't think I need to pile on, and especially because they don't have a first-round pick and it's being taken away from them, right? Like I don't need it. They're dealing with enough, right? I think we'll be fine. Without it, I should say. But anyway, welcome to the show. Again, if you want access to that, there's a bunch of data tools. I also did mention it on the show the other night, and I have to extend an apology. I thought this whole time that we offered merch discounts for subscribers, and we don't. I thought we did, but I'm going to start doing that. We're going to add that as a perk. So we haven't sold a ton of merch over the years, but to anyone who has bought merch, I apologize. But we are, if you're a subscriber to the show, we're going to add a merch discount tier or merch discount to the various tiers of subscription that people sign up for, because that seems like an obvious thing to do. And so I apologize to existing subscribers. Yeah,
give us money.
Yeah, designed by one Rayan Tubek, our graphic designer, who is also very busy with his schoolwork, which is a good thing. Things that good boys do, you know, being busy with schoolwork. But you know, in any case, we're going to be bringing that back. So. Yeah, I know. I'm lying to my subs. I know I'm a terrible, terrible person. Mea culpa. I'm going to make a very long, obnoxious Instagram post about how I'm going to go to therapy and do better and all that stuff. That's coming down the pipe. While after the Victor Plot video comes out, that's what I'm going to do. and
Will's apology.
I'll be all upset about it. I'll be all upset about it tonight. Publicly on the internet, live streaming on TikTok. Anyway, okay. Well, AJ.
Yes.
I mean, we didn't watch a ton of guys today. We're gonna get to
No.
the chat. We're gonna get to the chat eventually, but for the first little bit, AJ and I watched a couple of guys before this, just dipping his toe into the pool. So of the players we watched, which were Chase Reed, William Hokanson, Malte Gustafsson, Tynan Lawrence, and Carson Carrolls, I believe, were the 5.
Yes, those are the 5.
Who was your most preferred out of that 5? And I will tell you where I have them on my list.
Well, most preferred is Tynan Lawrence, but then Malte Gustafsson is next. Like, I had fun watching those guys, and I had fun watching Hawkinson too. But Chase Reed did nothing. I remember these are like probably anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes worth of watching.
Yes. And this is the point. For the record, this is the point. We're setting the stage here. We are introducing, and we are doing this on purpose because it is way funnier.
It's like me watching highlights, but there's less fun to go around.
Yes, exactly. So I'm assuming then that you would have Lawrence, Gustafsson, Hawkinson, and then Carolls, Reed Carolls. What are we thinking?
I don't know.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Take your pick. Who like they didn't think of it this way. It's like if you're attracted to somebody, all right, then you're attracted to them. If you're not, you're not. They're not my type of player. That is the best way to put it, you know?
Yes.
It's like the other 3 piqued my interests in some way. Carolls and Reed, that's somebody else. That's for somebody else.
Right.
That's kind of the way I think of it.
Well, it's nice of you to say that because that's basically the order I have them in. I've got Lawrence at 2 right now. I mean, if you're watching the stream, you probably can see it, but I don't think you are.
Nope.
I've got Lawrence at 2. I've got Gustafsson at 8. I've got Hawkinson at 10. Reed at 11, and then Carroll's at 30. So,
okay. So
after what we saw, I might bump Carroll's up a spot. I'd say maybe, but maybe not.
He wasn't like.
He's in my first round, right?
I see why. Like, I didn't see enough of Chase Reed, right? Like,
right.
I think we watched the least amount of time on him because we wanted to get to a bunch of guys.
Yes.
And we settled in a bit more. He just didn't do a whole lot, so it might be harsh. But again, that's the exercise,
right?
For me to not see a whole lot. My video was also lagging initially too when we were watching these. So I couldn't actually see all the plays he was making. So that's probably part of the reason as to why I did nothing, because I saw nothing as it lagged.
Google, I will say Google Meet is what we use for this call, and Google Meet's inbuilt screen presenting feature seems to be significantly worse than Discord's. So there's that too. But yeah, okay. Well, I mean, that works out really, really well for me because if it makes me look smart, I agree with it. And you...
Well, I'm your little minion.
You're my minion. So yeah, that's the other thing too, is I told AJ what to think in advance, and now he's just regurgitating it for me. So now it's all just a scam, basically, is what we're trying to get across here. All of this is just a giant scam, and AJ just agrees with me no matter what.
The world's a scam.
That's true.
It is.
It's all, as Frank Reynolds from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia said, in this world there are dupers and dupies, and I'm a duper. And everyone else can be a dupee, right? It's just how much can you keep that up? But seriously, I mean, it's exciting though. I like watching guys with you, and it's fun, and we're gonna do a lot more of it, I think, because I think seeing your thoughts on these guys, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in this year's draft class. I think that the like my list as usual differs quite a bit from the norm, and so
it starts at 1 because Bill is wacko.
Yes, because I'm out of my mind. Even though Ivar Stenberg, I think I posted this on Twitter, but in terms of draft rankings, it kind of has become a 3-horse race within a standard deviation now, between
Okay.
between Stenberg, McKenna, and Verhoff. So all of those guys almost are about the same with regards to average rank and standard deviation of that rank. So McKenna is still number one. It seems like McKenna's still the guy that everyone's leaning that way. But in terms of overall big picture, things seem to be shifting a little bit. But fun stuff. I mean, there's lots more to dig into, right? Like we didn't even get to the fun guys that nobody cares about but me, and we're gonna, and then maybe
Yuri Tiachek's, like,
yeah, the Yuri Tihacheks of the world. Sorry, no, you got to say his name right. Czech Olympian defenseman, Yuri Tihachek. Czech Olympian.
Czech, yes.
Yeah, Tihachek, the Czech Olympian defenseman. Elite player, elite name, everything's elite. What can you say? Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So all I'm going to do, Steelheads fan got it right. All I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch all of Mathis Preston's best moments and show you a compilation.
Don't worry, I'm
that.
already sold on him.
Well, I mean,
the game tape,
yeah,
right?
AJ's already seen plenty of Mathis Preston.
I've got the highlights I need to know that this guy is awesome.
I've seen enough. I've seen everything I need to see.
Rose William Nylander light.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah,
at least from my editing perspective.
Right.
And I've done William Nylander compilations before for my own enjoyment and school projects. So I think I know a thing or two about what William Nylander looks like.
It's true. It's true. Yes, that's true. Yeah. So I mean, Mathis Preston might not be the best, but I mean, there are players out there who have some rough moments that I really, really like. So I could just ignore all of those and just show you their best, and then you're gonna get brainwashed into agreeing with me. It's gonna be great.
But that's even more like William Nylander because he has those moments.
True. Yeah, that's true.
What you've said to me is 9 out of 10 moments or 8 out of 10 moments are spectacular. 1 out of 10 moments are fine, and then the other one is, oh boy,
yeah,
what are you doing?
Oh heavens, what have we done?
I'll take that 90% over the 10%, man.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's talk to our audience here. Let's see what they have to say today. So are you a college football person? Because I'm not.
No.
Okay, because I know the name Fernando Mendoza.
Yes.
And is that the Indiana? Is he a quarterback for Indiana? He's
a quarterback. I don't remember the school he plays for. I just know he's the guy who's projected to go first in the NFL draft.
Is he really? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. So he is the quarterback, and I believe they just won the college football championship, right?
I believe so. I don't keep up with college football.
Right. Well, yep, they were perfect.
They got into NFL football.
They had a perfect season. Wow, that's pretty wild. Well, good for him. But Fernando Mendoza or Gavin McKenna is the question at hand here. I mean,
well, one guy's a winner, and
one guy won the bronze medal.
Yep.
Well. I mean, yeah, I don't know. But Fernando Mendoza's on top of the world right now, so maybe we'll just go with him. Because, yeah, I did see a really...
And McKenna's not even a consensus #1 pick.
I did see a really adorable video of his parents. I think his mom has... Is it MS? I think his mom has MS, and his dad, like, when his dad stays she's in a wheelchair, and his dad stayed seated the whole game, and was just, on her level, and it was really cute. I thought that was cool. Very nice husband, supportive, everything like that. It's good times. And seeing their son do incredible things, must be pretty cool. Thoughts on jet lag? Well, I don't know if that's like a band or you're thinking a person named Jet Space Lag, or you're literally asking for thoughts on jet lag.
It sucks.
Jet lag does suck.
I experience it all the time because it's not that I'm like going to a different country or time zone, but I literally have to shift my body into like waking up and doing stuff at all different times. You almost
live like a Scandinavian lives through a year, but day by day. You know what I mean? Like, because some Scandinavians, they live their entire days or weeks or months with darkness. There's no sun, or the opposite. Whereas it's like every waking moment that you're awake might be nighttime. It might be dark these days.
Yeah,
right.
I've had that. I've had that.
So you kind of get a certain type of jet lag. It's just you're not going anywhere. You get stationary lag.
I just feel like I'm in a, in a fugue state, man. It's just so weird. It's just like I'm hoping. I just want time to go by. I just want it to elapse when I have to do like, especially when it's because I have to do 2 weeks straight every 6 weeks.
Yes.
So like it's an 8 week rotation, and then there's 2 weeks of that I'm like purely overnight.
Right.
And those 2 weeks are just wild. It's I wake up I wake up at 5 p.m. I go to work for 11 p.m. I get home around 7:20 because I honestly I don't take the bus when I do those. I ride share home because it's just like I need to get to sleep, and
Right.
taking public transit in the morning riles me up. So I just have a nice, and it also saves me 40 minutes. Like there's no traffic at that time, so
Yeah, I mean, jet lag does suck, but there are methods to get around it and deal with it. You know, I mean, obviously for a person like AJ, I don't know what you would do in that case, except just go to bed, because there's not much you can do.
you just deal with it. Like when
yeah.
I got off these, like when I got off my last set of nights, which was a couple of weeks ago now, might have been like just a week ago. I was waking up at I was going to bed at like 9 p.m. and waking up at 3 a.m. and starting my day. Like I had to
Right.
just gradually shift back.
I would say my trick with jet lag is if you're going across the pond to Europe or whatever, you gotta stay up as late as you can. And honestly, the fuel that gets me through a day where I'm jet lagged is Coca-Cola. I don't know why. I don't
Sugar's
know.
great.
I don't
Sugar's
know
great for
why, but there's something about the taste of a Coca-Cola where I go, I feel good and can function, but not like on a day-to-day. Like I'm not a Coca-Cola drinker every day, but if I'm like jet lagged, there's something about it. It's like how, I don't know why, but like if I'm ever hungover, which I don't condone being hungover, but if you ever are hungover, I find that like fresh fruit and yogurt for some reason like resets my brain. So like
Okay.
Advil, a Sprite, and yogurt and fresh fruit, that kind of does it for me. But it's not very glamorous anymore to be hungover for me, at least, so I try to avoid it as much as I can. But jet lag, it's a thing that happens. It's unfortunate, but it's
eating,
worth
honestly,
it by and
like,
large.
it's about having your meals when you normally would have them.
Right.
Like that's kind of a good barometer. So like when I try and go to bed pretty much as soon as I get home. Like I'll have a shower and like be in bed by 8 a.m. when I'm doing those night shifts.
Yeah.
So like I'll eat at 3 or 4
Yeah.
a.m. like it's kind of an energy boost, like sort of as like my dinner kind of thing, and then give myself enough time to like actually digest it. Like I've spent a lot of this year, and well, not this year, but last year, like working on my sleep, just because I'm not going to be able to establish a proper circadian rhythm with the current job I have.
Right.
So getting in enough hours and like being able to consistently sleep is really been important. So I've just been, anytime I can, like just getting as much sleep as I can. Like I shoot for 8 hours, but get about 7.5, and that's usually good. But more than anything, I think just eating is really important, because even like when I was 16 and I was super jet lagged going to Greece, like I was jet lagged even on like we did a cruise and we went to, I want to say it was Mykonos initially, the first island we went to, and like I had like this Nutella crepe on the island, and I was like still severely jet lagged even then, and that like woke me up in the middle of the afternoon, and then I was able to get to sleep at a normal time, and I adjusted just fine on the way back. Or sorry, not on the way back, but like once I was there. On the way back, I was fine. I just slept
Right.
enough hours.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Fuel matters. Still thinking about starting a financial pod. Yes, actually, there is a YouTube channel. I'm going to put it in the chat. I actually just got the link now. You can subscribe to it if you want. It's not active yet, of course, but it does exist. I would I would love to start doing it. I mean, this is still a really busy time of the year for me, and I don't really know the time with which I will be able to do it. But it is it is in the works. It is in the plans.
Really?
And actually, it is. Well, and also because I was, I mean, as I think I've said on this show before, but I'm the son of two bankers in Canada.
Yeah.
Two old-fashioned 80s style stockbrokers.
So Will has to deal with Mark Carney, is what he's saying.
Hey, like I've said before, we have a Christmas card from Mark Carney in our Christmas tree this year. You know, we're cool, we're pals, we're buds. But in serious,
get him to not make me pay taxes.
yeah, exactly. I'll give him I'll get I'll get producer AJ a waiver from Mark Carney to avoid taxes forever. But it is in the works. It is a plan. The channel is alive. Though nothing's on it there. But I was talking to my parents not too long ago about this. Well, not this specifically, but about, like, you know, because with my own money, like, I invest and I look at markets and I try. It's a hobby, I guess you could say. And you learn a lot doing that, and you make boo-boos and you figure it out. But my dad was, I was talking to my dad about some business that I've been looking at over the last little while and whatever, and he's like, you realize that, like, what you do for a living is basically the same as, like, a financial analyst. Like, it's no wonder that this is a hobby that you have. It's like basically the same thing. It's just there's a lot more money in this than what you're doing. No offense. And I went, yeah, I know. He's like, so I know this is a passion or something, nothing, but, like, have you thought about changing gears and just doing finance stuff? So now I have, and my mom said the same thing separately the week before. And so my parents have recently said that the stars are aligning of a different direction, but not there yet. But it does exist. And again, obviously with stuff like that, you have to be a lot more careful and a lot more, you know, it's not as loosey-goosey, I guess, as this is, but
stonks are real.
Yeah, stonks are real. It is true. And I think it's a really, really interesting thing. But anyway, it is in the works. It is in the books. At the very, very latest, I will start doing stuff there in the summer after the draft is over, because I have nothing really else going on. And so we can do some stuff then, but you can subscribe and we'll keep you in the loop. And yes, why
are you going to manage my finances for me?
I can if you want.
Okay.
If you want, but well, actually, I think legally I can't. I'm pretty sure I legally cannot. But maybe I'll lose all your money for you. I'll buy into the quantum computing stocks and
no.
Hell yeah, they're ripping today, bud. Anyway,
no. We're not lighting money on fire and putting it in the AI circus.
Okay. And yes, Wyatt Cullen is flying up the board. We actually did a game of him yesterday, and he was outrageously good. I love him. I think he is. I mean, I just kind of sat there and watched him, and I'm thinking, like, well, what do I think of him relative to this other guy, this other guy, this other guy, this other guy? I just think that in 5 years, he could be a monster. Like, just so skilled and so smart and creative, but also practical. And, you know, I think his skating is improving. He's getting his legs back after missing the first, like, couple months of the year. I've really liked him. He's a really, really good player. And that game I did the other day was insane. In the wake of the Sergei Bobrovsky and Alex Nedeljkovic fight, which goalies in the 2026 draft do you think can throw hands? I don't know the answer to that, but I will say, if anyone, based on how they play, might seem like a person who might get in a fight, I might go with Gleb Peshkov. Shout out Gleb Peshkov, the goaltender for Typhoon, which is the team in Khabarovsk, it's in Vladivostok. There, I think they're Vladivostok's junior team, and he basically is 6'4" and, like, Dominic Hasek. He has no fundamentals whatsoever in his game. He's just all over the place all the time and just plays like he's insane. Which I wouldn't, and if he is insane in real life, then yeah, he might be the actual type to actually get in a goalie fight. So probably him. But the other ones, I don't really know. With this draft lacking in terms of premium centers at the top end, which players do you think will be drafted way higher than they should be just because they play center? Well, I mean, I get the feeling that you're going to see Caleb Malhotra go off the board really quick. Oliver Suvanto probably goes off the board really quick, especially if he goes to the U18 and has a really good tournament. Honestly, like Maddox, Dagenet's been playing wing a lot this season from what I've seen. Maybe you get, yeah, like it's really really tough. Like I don't, and like a lot of the centers that I think are deep, like maybe an Alessandro Diorio, Beckham Edwards. Those two guys are centers and they're decent and they might get a bump because they're Canadian and centers and not small. Those guys all come to mind. Ryder Cali might get a pretty nice boost based on like the size and his playmaking. But I mean, it's already definitely happening with guys like Malhotra. I bet that Suvanto is on that list too. I mean, Viggo Bjork, I believe, has been playing center in the SHL the last little bit, and that's very interesting because I think he could play center if you really developed him and wanted him to do that. I think it's possible, but he's also not very big, and so he might not get that boost. But definitely Malhotra, for sure. Definitely. It's already happening. In a way too soon grading, is the Flyers 2025 draft class cooked already? I don't think so. I mean, I came out of the Flyers draft going, they drafted a lot of guys that the Flyers culture seems to love, right? And were they the best players available at those picks for me? No. But are they definitely like Flyer types that I think once they get into an NHL room, like if that happens, then could it be a thing that looks really great in retrospect? Maybe. Again, I say this all the time, but there's no point in getting worried about a draft class at all until they're waiver eligible, right? Like the way that life goes is things can change very rapidly, especially when you're 17, 18 years old and you have a 5-year pipeline basically where these guys go from being drafted to waiver eligible. And if you're 6 months in and you're like, I don't know if there's like cause for concern, especially because all the names that you mentioned, like they're not really going to be the flashy types, right? Like Porter Martone obviously is Porter Martone. He's great and has been great this year and was great at the World Juniors, I think. But like all the other guys you mentioned, Nesbitt, Amico, Murtagh, Vensagi, and Guard, the only one there that I'm looking at I did do a sort of team scouting-esque thing for Philadelphia where it's like regardless of context, I just who's the top player on my list at each of these picks and who would I have drafted. And the only one that matches up with me is Vensagi. And I never would have expected him to be a top 6 scoring guy anyway. He's more of a bottom 6, just rough and tumble energy guy. And very good at that. I mean, the Nesbitt pick was baffling at the time, and I've seen him a couple times this year, and I still don't think he's worth taking there. Carter Amico, like, I probably wouldn't have drafted him that high, but he's not a bad player. I know he's leaving college and going back to the USHL, and that's unfortunate. But also keep in mind, like, he missed most of last year. Like, he played the first month or two and then got hurt and missed the whole season and pretty much played like a handful of games at the end there. And I thought he was okay, but again, you're not getting a top 4 defenseman out of him, I don't think. I don't think anybody would expect him to be that. But as a physical sort of defense-first, meanie guy who can skate pretty well and like that typical boring NHL defenseman nowadays who's just big, skates well, keeps it simple, a guy like Amico could do that. Murtagh, I never really saw it with him. I'm very, very on the record about that all year last year. I never really saw it with him. And like just for the record, I mean, my picks for Philadelphia to this point from last year, I would have gone with Hagens, Eklund, Nilsson, Sverchek, Vensagi, LJ Mooney, Gustav Hillstrom, Quinn Beauchene, and a throwaway at the end with Leo Sundqvist. But like right away, I mean, I've seen all of these guys. I still love Hagens. I still love Eklund. I still love Nilsson. Sverchek has been a bit up and down this year, but I still see tons of potential in his game. Vensagi has been more of the same this year. LJ Mooney I love him. And he went like 50 picks later than I would have taken him for Philadelphia. And I still think at the end of the second round, that's a pretty good bet as the 6th guy you draft, right? So I would say like, it's not cooked, but also I would say that in terms of like upside and top end of your lineup type value, I don't think you're getting much of that. I don't think you're going to get much of that, and I don't think that you were going to get much of that coming out of the draft day one. It's just a lot of guys who play that Flyers style. So if it works for them because they get a lot of depth guys who fit their culture, is that a win? I would say so. But could they have maybe done better by going in a bit of a more broad direction? I think that's entirely possible, but time will tell. But the Flyers have picked so much, like they have plenty in the tank. But I'm just looking up and down my list of guys that I would have picked for them, and let's see who's on here. Gavin Brindley, Matvei Michkov, Logan Stankoven, Hagens, Stiga, obviously. Well, I mean, it's all pretty much the same guys. Luca Cagnoni's on here. He's pretty good. Anyway, we'll move on. But I don't know. I don't think it's cooked. But I mean, it wasn't the most flashy high upside pick class anyway for them. And in general, I don't think it was really that case this season. Can Sens win the lottery, or how does that work? I get the feeling that they'll remove them from the lottery. I feel I could be wrong, but something like that. How do we feel about the Ruck twins? Yeah, I saw the Rucks recently. I like them. I still wouldn't put them as high as Central Scouting has them at all. I like Liam a lot more than Marcus. I think they're both very smart. They play off each other really, really well. Obviously, they're twins. But Liam has like a sense of smarts and timing and such that kind of overcomes his sort of like pace issues or skating issues that I think are there. I like Liam Ruck. I don't have Marcus ranked. Liam, I think I have ranked, but like way down the line. I have a lot of doubts about him being an NHL scorer, but it's not impossible. He's one of these guys where it's like if the fundamentals improve and everything, like the mind is strong, and so maybe there's a nice upside bet there, but I just feel like he has a longer way to go in that regard than a lot of other guys that are kind of similar this year, and it just kind of bumps him down for me. Is there someone you look at in the 2026 draft and say, if you played a different position, I think you would be drafted higher? Wow. That's a crazy question. I don't know. I mean, I kind of would like to see Mathis Preston play center for a while, but I don't think he ever has, and I don't think he ever will. I mean, we saw Verti Svensk play wing the other day, and that was hilarious. But, like, I don't know. It's pretty rare, like, because a lot of these guys, they've been playing this position for so long that they kind of naturally really suit the position they're playing. Maybe like a Logan Stewart on the wing, or I don't know. It's a tough question because I don't know, because a lot of the things about like defensemen is like they need to play and like playing with the game in front of them, and forwards don't really do that. They like to push the game up the ice.
Forwards are better always.
Exactly. Forwards are better always. I mean, maybe a Tommy Blale. Yeah, maybe like a Tommy Blale on a wing, move him up to the wing and take him away from a defense position. Maybe him. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta save this line for my Instagram. Apology for the merch codes thing, but I'm doing a hybrid retool of my compulsive lying behaviors and habits. Exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Is there any 2026? And it's the same question but reworded. I've heard people are now souring over the draft class. I haven't checked in on guys over the last couple of weeks. Does your stance on the class remain the same? Well, yeah. I mean, like, I don't think your stance on the draft class should change in a matter of weeks as a whole, right? Like, I don't think that's fair or reasonable. But I mean, my sense of the draft class has pretty much been the same the whole time, right? Like, I think that there's a few things going on here. Like, again, people very much like to paint with a broad brush, right? Like, I like this draft class. I don't like this draft class. I like this guy's skating. I like this guy's shot. I like this guy, but it's like, okay, but what do you mean? Like, go a level deeper and explain what you mean by that, right? Like, my read on this draft class is as follows. I think there is a group of players, I'd say it's similar to 2021 kind of, where there's a bunch of guys who are all good hockey players, real good hockey players. And who would I want out of all of them? I guess I have to pick one, but I'm okay with a whole bunch of different options. I'd say there's at least 4 now. Maybe if you're feeling really risky, as many as 9, 8. So there's a lot, but at least 4. And so that to me is like good. I like that because all of those guys, when I've seen them, I go, yes, I'm very excited to watch these players. They're very interesting players. And then it goes from there into a lot of really impressive players that could fit really important roles and do quite well in them. And I think that there's a lot to dig into and a lot to bet on that is valuable. And then after once you get into the 20s or so, maybe late 20s, it very quickly turns into there's a lot of interesting players that I think are not guarantees to be in the NHL, but you can point at them and go, yes, I can very easily see this player bouncing in the right direction and going into the NHL somehow. Like, I do think that this class is not going to like be full of enormous steals and huge value and enormous amount of upside, but like, I do think that if you play your cards right, you could end up with a lot of really solid players in this draft. What I will say is that the defense group is a lot better than last year. I think this is a good year to be excited about the defensemen. And up front, like, I don't think there are a whole lot of superstar level play drivers who will be, one of the best players on your team and over the boards all the time and just a workhorse that can do everything on both sides of the puck and whatever. But like, there often isn't a whole lot of that in the draft anyway. Like, I think there's a couple of those this year, but it drops off pretty quick in that regard. And it becomes like, well, this guy could be a good complementary guy, a good role player, a good, they do this really, really well and could probably make it work in the NHL and all that other stuff. And so there's a lot of that this year. But I think this year, like, there's a lot more intrigue for me. Like, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that a whole bunch of guys are going to make it, but there are a lot of players, especially if you look a little deeper outside of North America especially, that I think you can look at and go, I like this guy. Like, and I'll watch more of him. And I remember at this time last year, we were a lot of us in this world were sitting here going like, I don't know what to do today. Like, who do we look at today? I don't know. like the list was long and not the most exciting group. But at the end of the day, this year I think is really interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff and no guarantees of anything, but it's an interesting year. Yeah, Stenberg had a goal today. He did. I saw that. Looking at Josh Doan becoming an analytical darling and get locked up to a big payday. In hindsight, what did people miss about him? Pretty sure being overage caused him to be underestimated. He'd go top 10 in a redraft. I mean, I feel like, yeah, in a redraft that could happen, I guess. But I remember watching him at the time, and I haven't watched much of Josh Doan in the NHL, and I probably should. I actually did earlier in the year because I wanted to see what was going on there. And I think, I think what they locked up Doan for, AJ, you might know better than me, was it $7 million, something like that?
Wasn't it 6.75 or something? Okay, so I don't remember exactly.
Right,
it might have been 7.75, but so I know it was something 7.5.
Something, yeah. So you're looking at around like 7% of the cap for the next 7 years or whatever, and the cap's going to go up, right? So it's a pretty small deal when you think about it, like that's a middle six guy locked up long term, and he's young, and that's great. But I remember watching Josh Doan this year and going like, I like what he brings to the game. I think that what Buffalo has done really well is like it's kind of hard not to, but when you draft so much and you're drafting so many players and a lot of them are high ceiling, high upside, adding a guy like Josh Doan, who maybe doesn't have that like elite level separating anything really. He's just a smart, really good shooting, pretty big, hefty guy who I think complements really skilled and finesse-oriented players really, really well. Like, I think it's a product of the environment in which he is in, and he's doing really well in it. And I think about the NHL, and I always go I think about composition, right? About who's doing what and who's complementing whom. Let me actually just check who he's been playing with, because I am very curious about that. Because I think at the time of the draft, I remember watching him and going, like I liked him. He was good, strong, sort of physical guy, but I didn't see a whole lot of like oomph in his game. I don't know how to put it. Especially for being a bigger guy in a league that was, oh boy, he is having a great year. A guy who was like in a league where he was one of the older guys. Okay, so he's been kind of in the blender here, but playing with, what's it been recently? Well, recently it's been Östlund and Krebs, or he's been playing a lot with Tage? No, Tage Thompson? I don't know why Tage Thompson is labeled as Tage in here for Hockey Viz, but I'm assuming that's Tage Thompson. But a lot of this year, when he's been really successful, it's been a lot of Alex Tuck, Tage Thompson, Peyton Krebs, and I think all those guys, like, they're more play drivers, more possession-heavy guys, and I think Doan complements that really, really well. So in terms of he's just getting scoring chance after scoring chance from right in front of the net. So, interesting storyline. I don't really know what to take away from it, really. But I think from what I've seen, it's a very much a composition-oriented thing, and it's worked out really, really well. I might have to go back and watch some tape of him in his draft year, but I think he's just come along really, really well. Can we get a Nancy update? Well, all I can say is I watched a game of Pierce Bouilly the other day, and he was not doing a whole lot, and then he got back on a line with Harry Nancy, and Harry Nancy was doing a lot of good hard work, heavy lifting, and all that. I still wonder about his skating ability, but for a guy who is barely eligible for last year's draft, and like if he was a +1 this year, like where would he go? Probably second round, maybe, I would say. Really good. I had him in the second round, so I'm obviously biased, but I think that would not be unreasonable if he were a first-time eligible this year and having the season that he's having. But the skating is still a problem. It's just, but his defensive game is really good, and he works off of other guys really, really well, and plays a pretty, like, if you want to talk a Josh Doan maybe type profile, maybe there's a Harry Nancy style thing there where he's, got the size, the Nancy can shoot, but I'd love to see him shoot more, but he's maybe more of a playmaker than Doan. But either way, I still really like Harry Nancy. Speaking of overagers, who are the guys you would potentially take in the first or second round if a front office asked about them? In the first or second round, it's hard to say because I don't know what the re-entries I really, really like are probably not guys I would target that high. Though the one that I really like recently or have liked recently is Apo Katovisto, who's a Finnish guy playing. I was watching Noel Pakarinen, I think his name is. He's a draft eligible playing in Liga, and this guy plays on his wing. And I've really liked him as sort of like a good, just sort of energetic forechecker. I don't think there's much of an offensive projection in his game, but as a defensive forward, like I've liked what I've seen out of him, just the energy and the physicality. And he's a pretty young reentry. Ivan Fomin, the more I watch him, the more I want to honestly, like AJ, I think you and I should sit down and watch some Ivan Fomin this season because I know he's very small, but God, man, I want him to be a thing.
But I just like him.
I want him to be a thing so goddamn bad. I want him to be the next Nathan Gerby. I want him to be the next something. I don't know, because he is so exciting and so much fun to watch and an absolute horse. Like I just
like him. Yes,
he just goes, man. He is an insane player, and he's on pace to score like 50 goals this year in the MHL, right? Like he's playing awesome. He's playing in the East and he's playing in the Silver Division, so he's just beating up on bad competition. But I don't know. I think there's something there with him that I would I wouldn't say first or second round, but Galvis. I guess Galvis might be a guy you could pitch in the second round now. He's on team Scouching from 2 years ago, so I'm gonna make sure that if this front office is asking about these players, I'll tell them that. But otherwise, like, Who else is on this list here as a re-entry? Philippe Veilleux has had a really good year. His last little bit has been absolutely insane. He might be one that's worthy of a look. Who else? I don't know. Marek Danicek. I don't know about top 2 rounds, but maybe a Marek Danicek. He's been really good every time I've seen Newfoundland this year. Yeah, I don't know, but there's a few. Danny Clares with Muskegon is kind of fun, but again, I don't know about top 2 rounds. Yeah, I don't know. Top 5 Russians for the 2026 draft class. I know you just want me to say Gleb Pugachev. You just want me to say Gleb Pugachev for this one, but I mean, you're not wrong. But who would be? So my top Russian this year, I guess technically, is Ilya Morozov. Who are the Russians this year? Yeah, Morozov. Yeah, so Morozov, Morozov, Fyodorov, Pugachev. I would say after that, the goalie, Borichev. I guess him. Yeah, probably Borichev and Rybkin, the goalie, as well. Maybe Fedosiev or Fomin, but I mean, I know I'm obviously very bullish on Fomin, but Fedosiev might be in there. Maybe, but the 2 goalies are really good. Borichev and Rybkin, I think, are really interesting goaltenders. Thoughts on Matvey Kotkov? Yeah, he's fun to watch. I mean, I haven't tracked a game of him yet. I am going to at some point, but I haven't yet. But yeah, he's the guy with the Yaroslav, right? Yeah, really young for the draft class. Really sort of high energy, dynamic player who I wonder about the projection to the NHL. Like, he's very, very skilled and very, very confident, but like the work under pressure at this level is still a bit of a work in progress from what I've seen. But he is a guy that I do want to watch more of. Him and Leonid Sokol are 2 really fun to watch guys on that program that I wonder about their NHL projection, but the skill and the energy in their game is undeniable. So I'll check them out sooner rather than later. But yeah, I'm around the same age as Will. Oh, good for you. You made it this far. Wow. The way I deal with jet lag in Japan is to not sleep at all on the plane and get to 10 p.m. and then crash. Yeah, that's kind of how I do it as well. I mean, I try to sleep on the plane ride over, especially because it's overnight. I mean, going to Japan from here, I don't even know how the jet lag works on that, because you jump like a day ahead and then also multiple hours. Like, I don't know how that makes sense. But I mean, the big thing is you just stay up as late as you possibly can. And then when you're exhausted, you sleep until, a normal hour and whatever. And you call it a day.
And then eat at normal times.
And then eat at normal times.
New routine.
Yeah, exactly. New routine. Exactly. Work into it. What do you think is a better outcome for the Sharks making the playoffs and drafting 16 to 20, or missing the playoffs? And since points-wise they are in the East, it's much better. They would be 8th through 12th. I am always in favor of winning. I think
make the playoffs.
Yes, I think
that guys experience.
Yes,
like get Macklin Celebrini some experience in the playoffs.
I am 100% always in favor of making the playoffs if you are there. I think the San Jose Sharks know that as well. I think that's why they went out and got Kiefer Sherwood. I think the Sharks are on the right path with regards to their leadership, because they've been drafting really, really high and a lot. I think someone in the comments said on a show the other day, it was like, oh, the Sharks haven't been it's like something about like how the Sharks shouldn't be trading draft picks and whatever. And I went like, they've drafted 54 guys in the last 5 years or something like that since 2020.
They've been bad since 2019.
Yeah, like since the 2020 draft, I think they've drafted 55 players. So it's like, again, it's like you can draft and draft and draft all you want, right? Like you could, but at some point you kind of have to go, if we don't have something good by now, then our scouting team is awful. And I don't think San Jose's scouting has been bad at all.
It's been what, 7 or 8 years since they last made the playoffs?
I don't know, something like that.
I want the Sharks back.
Yeah, like and I think that also, like, I mean, I hate to play the money card, but you want the playoff revenue, right? You want more games to make money. And I think that especially because you've already drafted all these high draft picks, you've got a franchise piece already in Macklin Celebrini, and the team is riding high. Like, I can only imagine the environment of being, say, a Will Smith or a Victor or a William Eklund, for example, where you've been there for so long. At this point, you're so young still, but you've been there so long that it's like, okay, we're finally gaining some momentum. Like, it's finally starting to click. We're finally starting to win. They're adding guys for us. Our goaltending is better. Like, things are improving, and we're in a playoff spot. Like, that's a huge positive in the development of a team. And so it's like you're starting to get to that point. And so I start to get a little bit sketched out when it's like, well, but there are all these other guys that we can trim and get a second or a third or a fourth round pick. And it's like, well, maybe, but like you never know, right? Like, the regular season doesn't matter when you get to the playoffs. Like, the regular season is so that you can buy your ticket to the dance. And once you get to the dance, everyone's on equal footing, right? So if there is a remote chance that my team can win a Stanley Cup, and it's not mathematically out of luck, which I think the San Jose Sharks legitimately are a better team than they have been, I'm gonna go for it. I may not like sell and or buy and try to win with a bunch of trade deadline acquisitions, but making a move like a couple of second round picks for a Sherwood to augment the team and try to keep the floor up on the team, I don't see a problem with that at all. So I'm never ever in the favor of dumping dumping guys, just because, like, if they miss the playoffs, I'd package the Oilers pick to move up, even willing to package musty level prospects for a chance at Verhoff or Reed. Yeah, I mean, I get I get what you're saying, yeah, but why, right? Like, you've already drafted and developed these prospects, like. I would think
your guys.
I think the much more likely scenario is San Jose takes that first round pick and some of the prospects or something and acquires a top end defenseman. Like, I think that's what the San Jose Sharks were in on Quinn Hughes, were they not? I believe they were. You know, like, I don't think they were a major player, but I believe for a time they were in there, and they had the pieces. They have the pieces to make it work. But I look at that and I go, maybe not a Quinn Hughes, but if there's a defenseman available that a team wants to get rid of or whatever, and I am in the Sharks position, that's who I wouldn't go after I wouldn't go after a 17-year-old in the draft if I'm San Jose, because you're not going to see Chase Reed for 2 years, maybe Keaton Verhoff a year, maybe 2. Like, I know that's not that long, but a top 4 defenseman for a first round pick and a prospect or something to add to that roster, I think would make a way bigger impact, like literally day one. And I think that's what San Jose should be more interested in. Why doesn't Nylander like quitting on the Leafs? Yeah, I don't think that's ever. Yeah, well. Yes, jet lag coming home is always worse. I agree. Yes.
I disagree.
Well, this person's talking about coming from Japan, which is the opposite direction.
Okay.
Yeah. You live the same day twice. It's wild.
That I've never done. I've not gone that far east.
Yeah. The Islanders have 0 under 24 right-hand defensemen in the system. Would you prioritize that position in the draft, or is best player available still the way to go? I mean, I still go with who's the best fit, right? Like, obviously you need players who shoot right to be on your defense group. It's possible. I mean, Sweden just won the World Juniors with all left-hand shot defensemen, right? So it's possible to win with a bunch of off-handed defensemen, but it's harder. I mean, this year there are right-handed defensemen that, I mean, the Islanders, are they in a playoff spot? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yes, they are. Like, you may very well get a pretty good chance at a pretty good right-hand shot defenseman in the middle of the first round. Yeah, they're sitting in like the top in the 20 to 30 range. Like,
that's been bad.
Right. So they could end up with an option there that might actually make a lot of sense for them. Like, who are the right defensemen this year that I've actually seen? Like, it won't be Reed. I mean, Villeneuve might be an option for the New York Islanders. And oh no, he's a lefty. But like Juho Piparinen might be an option. I could do that. Ryan Lynn, I guess, in that range. I don't think he'll be there, but maybe. I I think there are some right-handed defensemen you could get later on in the draft that could be good, like a Lowry. I know they've drafted out of Finland before. Tommy Blale. Like there are some good ones available. So we'll see what happens, but it's possible. But I still think that you just keep, you can always look at right defensemen as free agents or whatever, especially because a lot of defensemen, you're not going to get like peak level out of them for a while. Generally,
your whole team does not need to be like drafted.
Right.
Like your organization.
Most aren't. Most teams aren't. This is a relatively small part of the equation, in all honesty.
You're hoping to get you're hoping to get your core pieces in the draft.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always work out.
Who are the AJ players this draft? I'm not going to tell you because AJ needs to find that out for himself. I think I know in my mind some of the options, but I won't spoil it while he's here because...
No, you can go ahead and say who you think. It's fine.
I mean, I think there are quite a few this year, honestly.
Well, that's good.
That you're gonna. I mean, we did watch Tynan Lawrence. You like that? You like that guy?
Yes. He fits.
Yeah. You like a Preston? I mean, maybe a Bjork. Casper Justavar Carlson for sure is going to be your guy.
Okay.
Who else? Casey Mutrin maybe, but he's big, so I don't know about that. I don't know how you feel about that. Victor Plante.
I'm happy with big. The big guys are fine. There's nothing wrong with big guys.
Victor Plante, I mean, you just did the game tape on him, but I bet he's one.
He's smart. He's a smart dude.
There's a few, man. We'll have some fun. We'll get to them. It's going to be fun.
Also, it won't be available right after the stream just because, I got to re-sign in. So we'll do that after the stream, and then I'll upload it.
Right.
But it'll be shortly after the stream that we get it out for you guys.
Yeah. In some ways, I think many NHL teams are too conservative about which players can play center or not. I think there are a lot of wingers that play a center's game and could potentially make the shift. I agree. I mean, I think again, like you think about what the job of a center is, right? Fundamentally, right? Like really what their job is, at least my interpretation of it, is to provide support for everybody else on the ice. Like your job is to cover for defensemen. Like you need to be aware of where your defensemen are and what they're up to, and in the defensive zone, cover what they're not. You also need to be the guy that outlets a pass from your defenseman to your wingers, or be the guy that can carry the puck yourself, or, be a guy that supports your wingers in the offensive zone, whether it's along the boards if they're down low, or in front of the net if they're along the boards, or whatever. Like you have to be aware, very, very aware of like your surroundings and all that stuff. And I think skating is also a huge part of it. Like you got to get up and down the ice really, really effectively. So to me, like the things that I personally think about with centers is like, how do they read the play at both ends of the ice? Are they great skaters getting up the ice? Do they have good pass vision? Do they have good ability to manage the puck and work off of their wingers and all of that stuff? I look at all of those things and I kind of go, and notice how I'm not saying be big and physical. Like I don't, from my understanding, I don't think that's the biggest checkbox for a center. It's why I talk about like Brad Lambert being completely misappropriated and misused, because and it goes back to when he was in Finland, right? Like when he was in Finland in his draft year, he was playing when he was with Jyväskylä before he left. They put him at center and he was unbelievable. He was a machine getting the puck up the ice, working off of line mates, working off of everybody else he played with, providing good defensive zone support. But because he wasn't this like physical presence, at least into the defensive zone, and there were issues with that for sure, it was kind of like, well, he can't play center. But I'm going, right, but like the job he does is so good at that position that it kind of doesn't make a difference. And then he got moved to the wing when he went to Lahti to play with Pelicans. And he did not look the same at all. He was limited. He was with restricted with what he could do and all this other stuff. It just felt very miscast and very like almost lazy to be like, well, it's this small, fast guy and we don't know what to do with him, so we'll put him on the wing because he's not big enough or strong enough to play center. And I'm going, right, but then his results go in the toilet and you wonder why. So it's like, I think my understanding of what a center should do is different with regards to how the NHL seems to think it should be done. I think the NHL is very, 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 very focused on face-offs. That seems to be the thing that bigger centers and stronger players do have an advantage with is face-offs. And I always go back to the thing that an old WHL coach used to tell me when it came to face-offs. They're like, it does matter. Like face-offs, you want to win face-offs because it means you get the puck, right? That's the whole point. But winning and losing a face-off doesn't really matter as much as what happens immediately after winning a face-off. Like the structure with which you are playing post face-off play, like one of the big things that he said was they used to pre-scout how opponents play face-offs in every zone. Like if a team wins a face-off to the right side of the goaltender in their own end, what's their pattern? What are the patterns there, and what system can you run to close that pattern out and stay ahead of it? And some teams were better or worse than others. Some teams were a little more creative and hard to read. Other teams were very, very structured and very easy to predict and very easy to read. So it's like you figure that out. And then it's like, well, if you lose a face-off, you know you have some sort of an advantage. Or if you win a face-off, you know you have some sort of advantage. So it's like, if that's what you care about, then fair enough. But I think I can work around that even if I do lose a face-off with like kind of pre-scouting you and try to figure out what you're up to when you do win a face-off. But also, I mean, I think smaller players do have some kind of an advantage with being a lower center of gravity to the ice on a face-off. But it hasn't really been experimented with really because that's just the way she goes. So I agree. I think I agree. I mean, that's why I look at a Mathis Preston as a guy that I'd be interested to see in playing center. I don't think he brings the consistency of like pace and work rate to really be there comfortably immediately. But in terms of his like passing ability, in terms of his skill and vision on the ice, and his I guess penchants for like sort of being more off puck from distance in the offensive zone, I think that being a center might be an interesting experiment. But we'll see what happens. It's similar with Viggo Bjork as well, with thoughts on Tyler Hopkins, 32 points in 38 games. I don't know. What do you want me to say? With Tyler Hopkins, like I remember watching him last year going like, he's one of these third line. He looks like a third line NHL player playing in the second line of an OHL team, right? Like that's always been my read on him is he's pretty big. He skates okay. He is perfectly acceptable as a player. But I wouldn't see anything super exciting in the NHL if he makes it. Like I don't know, like being a sub point a game OHL guy as a sort of middle six center, like, I don't know. He has as good a chance as anyone else, I guess, because he kind of checks a lot of boxes for like a depth center in the NHL, I suppose, but I was never really too blown away with his game. And he's like one of these guys where I feel like if he works out in the NHL, that's awesome. It's great because I think he was a 3rd round pick or something like that. But if he's a free agent, like there are probably guys like him you can get in free agency that can fill a gap in your lineup down the middle, down the line, maybe. But as of right now, I just kind of don't see a ton in him. Victor Eklund would be a sick Flyer. Yeah, so Victor Eklund would have been a sick Philadelphia Flyer. I agree. 100% he would have. I definitely would have taken him over Jack Nesbitt for sure. Stankoven was a center in junior, but the vast bulk of GM saw him as a winger. He may still be that long term, but the Canes are at least giving him a try and developing him there. Yeah, exactly. And Stankoven's an interesting example. I don't know if I would do it. I don't think Stankoven like is the type of guy that I would want playing center, unless you do want one of the more physical, intense, sort of board heavy centers, because Stankoven can do that. But I don't think that's my goal. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's great that they are trying him there, I think he's on their 3rd line or something, 3rd line center. But yeah, I've always felt Stankoven on the wing was where I would have him, but nonetheless. There's been some hype of Madden Dano. Oh yeah, I've heard this name. He's the WHL draft guy. I mean, I can't tell you a ton. We'll have to have Joel Henderson on the show. I mean, yeah, he's a 14-year-old, right? Like, whatever. Yeah, the AEHL. If you're not, I mean, I'm only half joking, but like, it seems to me.
Expansion? That's all I know AE means, right, Will?
Yeah, exactly. all I know is that if all I know from my limited WHL draft experience is that the CSSHL is king, and coming from anywhere else, the barometer is significantly different these days. So if you're coming out of Saskatchewan or the Alberta Junior League or the BC Junior Leagues or whatever, and it's not the CSSHL, it's a different level. It's a bit of a different story now because the CSSHL is kind of where everybody comes from, but there has indeed some hype on him. I haven't seen enough of him at all. I haven't seen much of him at all. But I don't know. I also don't really know what you can really say about a 14-year-old as a player that like really, I think you have to be really, 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 really careful because they're children. Like remember being 14? Imagine random people were like imagine random people just like analyzing how you play and like being really serious about it and everything. Like I personally would keep it very relaxed and very light, and I don't know, it's hard to explain, but just seems a little strange. But I think Joel Henderson's a good egg in that world. I think he does it well, and I think he's a very, very good line walker. We'll have him on, and maybe you can ask him about Madden Dunno then. All right, we got 4 subscribers over at Blue Chip and Chase. Attaboy, way to go. Is AJ aware that the Leafs are dead? Oh, yeah. Right. We're off the bus now, right? It's time to get off the wagon, I believe.
I've been off the bus for a while. It's okay. It's fine. I have a dog now, and that's true. My joy in life.
Yeah, AJ's found joy in real things, in tangible objects like a dog, not a sports team that has no impact on his life, honestly. It's a good way to be. Dogs are great.
They are great.
14th to 20th overall, which defense would you pick if you were the Sharks general manager? Well, realistically speaking, the ones who might be available there, of Xavier Villeneuve, maybe, but like if Malte Gustafsson is available there, I might really think about it. I doubt he'll be there based on how he's played this year. But the guys that I would probably point at are Gustafsson and Håkansson, and then I guess Piperinen after that. Maybe Lynn or Carroll's in that range, but definitely Gustafsson, definitely Håkansson, definitely Villeneuve. I think you could convince me to skip on Villeneuve if you really wanted to, but you definitely couldn't convince me to skip on a Gustafsson or a Håkansson if they're still available. Daxton Rudolph is why the defense in this draft is amazing. Exactly, yeah. So Josh Doan got 7 times 6.95. There you go. I mean, that's a decent deal. That's a fine deal. I think for that kind of money, yeah, that's like what 5% of the cap next year, and that's the max it'll be. I think that's a perfectly acceptable deal for a top 9 energy complementary guy. I mean, he has been playing with some of the best players on the team, or the most productive players on the team, but he plays a good role for them from what I've seen of Buffalo this year, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Nice with a good Swedish class, considering we're cooked next year. Oh my God. Do you have any hopes for anyone outside your first round?
There's always hope.
There is always hope. Elofsson, Bartoldsson, Nordmark, Bratt, Command, Anderson, Josbrand, Yestrin. I mean, the outside my first round, the guys that I do like out of the list that you gave are probably the most, like Nordmark, Anderson, Command. I've really, really liked Ludvig Soderberg, defenseman. He needs to be in the men's league for the rest of the year. I don't know what they're doing playing him in junior hockey at all, but he is really good. Marcus Nordmark I really like as well, but he's a guy where it's high ceiling, low floor. Morgan Anderberg is another one that I really like this year. Just a really, really smart center who can also play on the wing, or other way around, whatever you want to call it. Nicholas Arm Olsen, I think a lot of people are kind of writing him off. I think he's still got a lot in the tank. And Command, those guys are all in the same tier for me. Yustavar Karlsson, but you know that he's in my first round. Like Lagerberg Hohen is another good one. The Yestreen I like, but I haven't seen enough of him. But with Yestreen, I mean, he's kind of like his brother, which is fine and dandy. I just don't know. I haven't seen enough to really know where to put him, but he has flirted with my watch list over the course of this season. I'm not a huge fan of Zigabrat. Nils Bartholdsen, I think, might be just one of these guys that scores a ton in the under 20 level, and the next steps are a little bit rough in terms of translation, but he's skilled and fun to watch. But yeah, it's a good Swedish group. I think this year's group of Swedes are pretty darn good. I might end up with a lot of them on Team Scouching, even though Toronto only has 3 picks this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the guys of 15. 5 of 15 on my watch list are Swedish, so might be some good value to be had.
Will's just like Paradox, biased towards Swedes.
Yes, of course. What's more impossible for you to do, hitting a 100-mile-an-hour fastball for a home run or going end-to-end scoring against the 2026 Colorado Avalanche? The fastball, 100%, because I have swung a baseball bat at a baseball maybe 5 times in my life, but I have skated hundreds of times in my life. So I will take my bet on the thing that I have more experience doing and take on the Colorado Avalanche. I don't know, AJ. Do you have a feeling of maybe one or the other?
I'm incapable of both. It's as simple as that, and that's fine. I don't have to be capable of that. I have a job doing something else, but I don't know. It'd be tough.
What about bunting a 100-mile-an-hour fastball?
Oh God!
I'll bunt one of those maybe.
Oh boy!
Oh boy. Foeman's too
There's a
small.
reason we analyze games and don't play them.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly. Yeah, it's why we yap and don't work.
Yeah. Come on.
Fomin is too small. He's only 5'8", 137 pounds. Tell that to Johnny Gaudreau, man. Tell that to Nathan Gerby. Tell that to Martin St. Louis. Tell that to Alex DeBrincat.
Cole Caulfield at one point.
Cole Caulfield. Like, just because you're small doesn't mean you can't play, dog. Also, go watch him. Go watch him. Go watch him play hockey.
It's a limitation, but it doesn't have to limit you from being in the NHL. You just have to have other things to compensate for it.
For sure. If you were the Ducks general manager, which left-handed defenseman would you move on from? Oh boy, I don't think that I don't think the Ducks are in a position to know who to give up on their team. But their lefties right now are Lacombe, Minchikov, and Zellweger. I mean, I don't think you're going to get much for Zellweger, and I don't want to trade him. I don't think you're getting too much for Minchikov, and I don't want to trade him either.
All right, move on from Lacombe. Easy.
Yeah, Lacombe. Yeah, well, yeah, no. But that's also a given. You don't want to give up on him either. He's a good defenseman.
He's solid, but I think overrated.
Well, the Olympics will show us all. Is that Ian?
Okay.
Is Ian Moore on their wing? Because he was a defenseman, and he's listed at the wing. Okay, interesting. Not sure how that works, but okay. I mean, if I had to pick one, it might be Minchikov, I guess, but
you're not getting anything.
No, I don't think you're. I think if you have 3 solid young defensemen like that, like unless something really like you would make that trade not out of necessity, but because someone's offering you an upgrade on the right side of your defense group or a center or something that you want to add, then yeah, sure, I'll listen. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd be looking to make a move with any of those guys really.
Yeah,
especially because they're not done developing. You still don't know what you got. As a Sharks fan, people are saying we don't have that number 1 defense prospect. We need to be true contenders. To which I say, then trade for it. Playoffs or bust. Exactly. I don't think again like defense. Also, defense prospects oftentimes in draft classes are overrated at the top end. Like Again, I say this all the time. Go back to the last 5-10 years and look at all of the defensemen drafted in the top 15 and the ones that are the top in the world right now and the style of play that they are, right? You think about the ones that have really come into their own and really become dominant defensemen, guys like Dahlin or Makar or Hughes or what have you. Schaefer, they all kind of check the same box, and it's certainly not what people think a defenseman should be doing. Or something people think you can't have too much of, right? But then again, it's like, well, these guys just go off and become superstars. So like someone must be wrong here. Because obviously trading for a top defenseman is not going to be cheap. I mean, look at what Quinn Hughes cost you, but you're San Jose. You have pieces, you have parts to move around if you need to. I think though, this is the other thing too, this year, looking at the defensemen and where people have them ranked, even if you make the playoffs, I bet you will have a good shot at a good defenseman this year. Like, is a William Hokanson going to be a 25th overall pick? If he is, then you've got a really good player there. You might have a really intriguing defense prospect there. Is he a number one defense prospect? I don't think so. But I don't think there's been a defenseman in my experience of really watching these guys since 2020, really with my own eyeballs. I can't think of a single example that you watch and you go, as a dominant 200-foot defenseman, it is immediately apparent that is what this player is going to be. I don't think we've seen that. Like, Brock Faber was a second-round pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very all over the place with defensemen. And so I always with defensemen think about, and I almost every player, I go, there's no certainty, really. I think that's why I also think, like, if you want to get something that you think you need now, you trade for it. You don't draft it and expect it to be there. I think that you're just going to lose a lot more bets than you win when you do that. So
draft forwards, trade for defensemen. It's easy.
Or draft defensemen outside the first round, right? Like, yep. a lot of really good defensive players in the NHL have not been first round draft picks. That's mathematically true.
Lane Hudson.
A lot of them. But even just defensive metric players, like just defensively successful players, a lot of them are not first round players or first round picks. I have theses on why that is, but I think that if you're San Jose, you sign or trade for those types of things at the current spot that you're in. But if you keep a first round pick and a guy like Hokanson is there, or even if Gustafsson is somehow there, then you pull that trigger, you go for it. But yeah, I mean, it's a good group of defensemen this year. But if you're looking for a top end surefire thing, I think you better trade for it. Building teams through the draft isn't everything. Exactly. Mike, yeah, I think that you're right. Like, the draft is honestly like I was told by more than one person that during a transition recently of a team that was bought by someone else, the last priority for them was their scouting staff. Like, they looked at every other part of the business first when they took over the team, and the last thing they thought about was their scouting staff. Because in reality, the scouting staff is an investment fund for the future. So you can kind of, it's not an immediate return thing. Like, your marketing department can be immediately changed and you see immediate results, right? Or your sales team, or your arena operations team, or your in-game experience team, or your pro scouting team, or your front office, or your head coach, right? Like, all of these things, it's like, those are pretty immediate changes. Whereas your amateur scouting is like, I don't know, like, we'll see what we think of them, but we can't get to it right now. We got a lot of other fish to fry. It's not that big of a thing. It's very important, and if you do it well, it makes your life a lot easier, but it's not everything at all. And most prospects are overrated. like just look around the internet. Like, I see people calling everybody a steal all the time. And then you never hear of them again, right? Like, someone scores 10 points in 5 games once, and then they're a steal, right? And then it's like 5 years down the road, nobody even remembers who they are, right? Like, it's really hard to make the NHL. So if you can find someone who's already there and you're a team that's in a playoff spot, go for that player. Go for it, right? If you think they'll be a fit, you can make that case. Go for it. And you're San Jose. You've got the pieces. Make it happen. Do you think Alexander Karmanov gets drafted? Ooh. Well, actually, we did watch him in the server not too long ago. I had a few clips of him that we shared, and he is one of the weirdest hockey players I've ever seen in my life. Like, he is humongous, obviously. Like, he's humongous, but he's actually a pretty good skater considering that. Like, he gets around pretty well, and he just takes up an enormous amount of ice in a stride. Like, it's pretty wild watching him in that sense. Like, it's not like he's big and slow and can't skate. That's not the case. But it is a bit sketchy when the puck comes near him. Like, I think it is a case right now that he is almost like too big to play the game. Like the puck gets through him really easily. Controlling and settling pucks is really hard. Moving the puck effectively and with skill is really touch and go. Getting strong energy behind his passes just is not there yet. It's very much a intriguing thing, but in terms of actual quality, he's not there yet. I don't think. Like, I don't think he should be in the OHL. At least not in the sense of, like, if you expect him to go out and eat a few minutes and play some decent defensive hockey, then I guess, there's something there for sure, and he's worth it. But, like, if you want him being a little more confident, carrying the puck, pushing things a little more offensively, and all that stuff, like, I think he needs more space and time and experience at lower levels to, like, get up to that point. But as far as I know, he's in the OHL because NHL scouts want him there, and that's why they want to see him play. And he's interesting. He'll get drafted, I think. I think someone will draft him because if the NHL knows how to do anything, it's how to put their feet up in the fourth round and go, I don't know, right? There's a lot of that goes on. And so they just point at a guy and go, who do you want? Right? And then they might just go, I don't know, Alex Karmanov, who knows, right? And then Karmanov is a Montreal Canadian or something, right? And then who knows what happens after 5 years in college. But he's an interesting one. Very, very interesting, but I don't know what I would do with him. Depends on who's available, right? Like, if it's the 7th round and a Yustavar Karlsson is available, I'm going with the Yustavar Karlssons of the world. He's a really good SHL bottom 6 guy. I'll take that. As opposed to a wild card of wild cards who has a long way to go, but boy, if he ever becomes a thing, it could be interesting. But I think we're a ways away. Thoughts on Marner playing center? I mean, I don't see the problem. He's kind of the guy that I could see being a guy that could play center on my roster. Is he actually playing center in Vegas? Is that a thing that they're doing? I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. Is he going to play defense, center, and wing?
He's going to
play get all the eligibility.
Yeah.
Most stable fantasy player.
Yeah, it looks like he is. Yeah. Yep, that is true. That's what they're doing. I mean, I get it. I see the logic behind it and how he plays. I think he should be fine with it. Again, it's like I think he's much more up the alley of how I would want centers to play. And he is a good two-way player. Like, his two-way impact on the game is really solid. It's really strong generally. And I'm willing to give it a go. I think it's fine. I don't remember him doing much of that in Toronto. I don't remember much of that.
Sometimes he played defense on the power play, but
which was awesome. Weren't we at a game where he played defense for a bit? Was that when we were there? Power play?
Maybe. Oh, yeah. I think we might have been.
I think we might have.
I can't remember. I can't remember fully, but I would not be surprised. And it might have been against the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, I think it was the San Jose game we went to. I think we both looked at each other at like one point in the game and we're like, it's even strength. And they got Mitch Marner on defense or something here. Like, he's not. I think someone got hurt or something. I don't remember.
Yes, I think that is.
And they moved him to defense and we're like, whoa.
Okay.
Interesting.
Me like.
Okay. Who should the Flames draft to play with Coronado? What? Sorry, what'd you say?
He's a very versatile player.
Yes, he is. Who should the Flames draft to play with Coronado? I don't think that's the right question. I don't think you draft guys to go, we're going to play this player with our guy in the NHL already. I don't think there's too many guys this year who will be in the NHL. But I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, if you want someone to pair off a guy like him, like a Coronado if you're looking for that. I mean, guys like McKenna come to mind, like guys who can set him up, guys who maybe don't need to have the sort of physical energy that he's got and can let him kind of do that. Ty Lawrence maybe comes to mind. Ivar Stenberg could probably play off a guy like him well. I mean, there's a whole bunch, right? Like, because Coronado's more of that like two-way energy guy that can finish, and from what I've seen of Calgary at least, that's kind of. But I don't know, like, I just kind of go off of. I don't really think about who's on the current roster when I'm drafting guys. If I were drafting guys, I don't really think about too much about who's on the current roster, because these guys won't hit their ceiling at all until 5 years down the road, 4 years down the road, and you're looking at a guy who Coronado might be 25 by that, 26 by that point, 27. Like, is he even going to be on the team, right? Like, that's the thing. So I don't know. If faceoffs really mattered, the Leafs would be doing better. They're the best in the league. I mean, exactly, right? Like,
yeah, they've been the best in the league for a long time,
right? Yeah,
or
I mean,
close to it. You know, like that's kind of been their bread and butter for a while.
Yeah,
even going back to Sheldon Keefe.
Right. And that's the thing, right? Like, the problem with the Leafs that I've seen this year, and it's been a little better recently, but they just have no legs. Like, they have no energy. Like, there's no real forechecking. Like, there's just not enough there. And it's like, well, then it kind of naturally follows that even if you win a faceoff, if you don't have that energy, that quickness, that any of that stuff, then who cares if you win a faceoff? If you're just going to cough the puck up anyway, or just pop it on net and turn it over, like, if you're just going to, then who cares? That's kind of the point. It's like the face-off win or loss doesn't matter nearly as much as what happens after it. And I know that there are teams that have metrics and stuff on what happens in the 5 or 10 seconds after a face-off. Like, that's what they're much more interested in, right? Like, what percentage of the time do they face a shot on net within the first 5 or 10 seconds of losing a face-off, right? Like, is that something they need to work on, right? Like, is the intensity level something they need to work on after losing a face-off? After winning a face-off, what is their how often are they breaking the puck out of the defensive end with control of the puck in a defensive zone face-off when they win it, right? If that number is really low, then they might need to look at that, right? So it's those types of conditional situations that you don't get from public data, but that's one example of something that I know that they look at and really value, because it is really important. But winning and losing faceoffs, like, I think if that's what your focus is, I get why, but I think that it's a misapplied value of how much that means. Who should the Flames draft to play with Matt Cora? We did that already. Thoughts on Maddox Dagenais? I like him. I think Dagenais is a very projectable player. Like, he's a very sort of north-south, up and down the ice, physical guy. There's a bit of skill to his game as well. Like, he's got some good puck manipulation ability, getting around guys, working through defensive layers and all that. But I haven't seen enough, like, really, consistent offensive, real heavy engagement and constant offensive threat, basically. But he is one of those guys where he doesn't waste time. Like, if he gets the puck below the offensive goal line or something, he'll throw it out in front for someone there. He'll work along the boards. I think he checks all the boxes for at least a winger that a lot of NHL teams could play on their bottom six. Like, he's physical, he's energetic, he is but he is also a pretty capable puck handler. And he keeps his play really simple in the offensive zone, but pretty effective. So I like him. He's just outside my first round. I don't mind. But good player. Good player. When do we get Joel Henderson to talk? I'm sure. I mean, I think he's in the U.S. right now. But when he's home, I imagine it will be much easier to organize something. I'll let you know. Don't worry. We'll have him on soon. Stankoven's second line center on Carolina. That's fun. What do you think the return for Panarin should be? I don't like moving him because it's a retool, not a rebuild, and we're trading our best player and keeping junk like Miller, Zibanejad, and Lafreniere. Well, the problem is that Panarin, it's all up to him. He gets to choose what deal they accept. And I think if you're getting Panarin traded somewhere where he goes, I will sign an extension, then you'll get a lot more, probably. But I don't think that's what's going to happen, it seems. I could be wrong, but my ear to the ground listening to what I've been listening to, it seems like Panarin doesn't, like, he wants to go to free agency. I could be wrong, but if he's going to be traded somewhere, he wants to either, I don't know, he's either going to be, I wouldn't want to acquire Panarin unless I knew I was going to be able to keep him. But like, what do you get for him though? Because he's really, you probably get a pretty good chunk though, honestly, now that I think about it. Like, if you retain that money and someone's getting an Artemi Panarin for the rest of the year at like half his salary, I'd pay quite a bit for that. Like, if it's like Minnesota or something and they just want to go all in, I mean, you might, I don't know what Minnesota even has to trade anymore, but you could make it happen. Man, I just had the thought of Minnesota trading one of their goaltenders, but that doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. And Shesterkin's in New York, so why would you do that? But like, I mean, to the second part of your question though, I think that you mentioning Miller and Zibanejad and Lafreniere is like junk. It's like, I think you're stuck with those guys. Like, I think that those are just like, it's like, you may be able to trade those guys, but you're going to be eating their salary. You're going to probably pay more than you get. Like, you're going to be giving teams like a pick for a lower end pick, I would think, for taking on those. Like, I don't think you're going to get much. So you may as well just either ride it out or buy him out. I don't know. But with regards to Panarin, honestly, I don't know. I'll be very curious to see what happens there, because if he is committing to not extending with that team, it would be obviously a lot less. You might be looking at a few picks or a prospect and a pick, a first-round pick or something like that, because he would be a really good pickup. But if he does sign with an extension, I bet you could probably do pretty well. Doubt we sign or draft anyone coming close to replacing Panarin's production. You won't. I don't think the Rangers will. I think the Rangers are... it's like Vancouver, right? Like, you can pick whatever words you want to call it, but the Rangers are going to be in a downswing, I think. Like, I don't know, like, losing Panarin is a big hit. And I don't know what the trajectory is for them. I don't think any of their players that they've drafted are going to save them. It's going to be a little rough, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to just replace Panarin. And I think that the depth in the Rangers organization anyway needs a boost. But that's going to take time. Do you think Zane Parekh is a lazy player or just appears to be lazy? I don't like using the word lazy. I don't think anybody that gets to be one of the most productive defensemen in OHL history, like, you can't call that person lazy. You know, like Phil Kessel, everybody called him lazy. You shut up and score like he did then, right? Like, I don't think you should be in a place to call anybody lazy when they are getting extremely positive results doing what they do. I mean, I think with Zane Parekh, the word I would use a lot is lackadaisical. I think he is absent. I think he can be a little absent with regards to how he makes his reads, how he takes risk, how he manages risk. Like, all of these things, I think he leans very much in a direction that can be very risk-reward. Like, he is a high upside guy, and he can be a very frustrating player. And Joel Henderson said it last year to me. He's like, John Klingberg. If you like John Klingberg, you got Zane Parekh. And honestly, 100% I agree. Everybody's calling him Evan Bouchard. Maybe, at his best, maybe, but Klingberg makes more sense to me. Because I think that the things with Parekh are, you know, his like, some of the moments that you see breaking the puck out of his own end can be terrifying and really risky and really like, what are you doing mode. And again, with Parekh, like, I said it in his draft year, and it's why I was lower on him than a lot of people, and people did not like it, but I just kind of went, I don't care how he plays in the offensive zone when his defensive zone and breakout work is so mixed to negative. Right? Like, a defenseman that excels in the offensive zone but struggles to get the puck there himself reliably, their offense is going to dry up in the NHL. It mathematically doesn't make sense, right? And that's kind of how it's happened with Parekh, right? I don't know. I think he'll figure it out. It's a very, very good profile to build around and everything, but Parekh has always been a guy where I go, it's going to take time and there might be growing pains, but like he's got a ton of upside, but there was risk there, I think. And I think the really intriguing thing is for any of you all who were obsessed with the World Juniors, and I might be a little, it might be a little bit of bias because we're in this room together and I'm sure a lot of you are scouch pilled, as they say, but like, but go back to the World Juniors and I had Alphonse Frey 1 or 2 spots ahead of Parekh. I think that tournament showed a lot of the reason why. Like, I think that's a perfect example of why I had a guy like Frey ahead of a guy like Parekh in the draft that year, right? Watching Frey play at both ends of the ice, moving the puck, managing the puck, working possession, earning offensive zone time. There was a lot more going on there. And Parekh is a guy that I think is used to having a lot of time and space to think. And a lot of opportunity to take on some risk, and the NHL does not really allow that. So learning to manage that and working around it can take time. I think he'll get there, but I don't know. I don't like calling guys lazy. I just don't do it. I think that's also a little like disrespectful to a player. Not that you're being disrespectful, but I think that as an evaluator, like I always think about it like the guy sitting right next to me. If I have Zane Parekh sitting right next to me, would I call him lazy to his face? Absolutely not. Would I try to get on his level and like walk him through some video and go like, well, here and here and here, like we need to this and this and this, like that makes a lot more sense to me. But the word lackadaisical does come to mind with him because he can be a little bit all over the place at inopportune times. I agree. Ivan Fomin's not Chara sized. He can't be good. It's true. It's exactly the reason why. Dubas has proven a lot to me in Pittsburgh. Outside the first offseason, his moves feel a lot more like he's been left alone to do his job than he is in Toronto. Yeah. I mean, I still am very certain that the Leafs had their best shots at being a contending team every year before the pandemic. Like, I don't know. AJ, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but
I feel like the actual COVID season was the best team. They just choked. That's where I lean.
Yeah, I could see that too.
The team where TJ Brody just comes in and he's really good.
Yeah, adding TJ Brody was huge for them, for sure.
He was awesome. That team, that was like the era of Leafs are like, these guys are going to win. And they didn't. And I want to die now.
Yeah, I mean, like Kyle Dubas, like it's so fun. It's so funny to me watching people yell and scream and moan and complain and make fun of Kyle Dubas for years here in Toronto, and all of this.
Still do. My grandfather,
yeah, they still do.
Kyle Doofus.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, then he leaves, and the Leafs overnight basically turn into a grotesque, whatever you want to call it, interpretation of the sort of foundation that he laid. And then he goes to Pittsburgh, hires a former junior hockey coach from the NTDP who was an assistant coach with the Rangers, takes him off the bench and gives him the job, and brings in some young guys or some high value guys with good floors and just calls it a day. And they're actually a pretty good team this year. I mean, obviously having Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and stuff, like we said this before, but he kind of was in the toughest spot for a while there because you weren't going to trade those guys and they weren't going to go anywhere, but you still didn't want to be like 14th overall for 5 straight years while those guys ride off into the sunset. But if you're a playoff team, then great. You've got those guys on a playoff team, and the Pittsburgh Penguins have been that for now. But Dubas is like, yeah, I think he made mistakes and stuff. Like, sure, every GM makes mistakes, but by and large, like his moves have by and large been pretty good. And I still think that, I might not agree with everything he thinks or does or says, but I mean, think about the average NHL general manager. Think about the average NHL system. Like, he's doing something different. And again, like I spoke to someone with another team similar to Pittsburgh, and they're like, I cannot believe that the rest of the league is not emulating what we're doing. Like, they just seem to be, they see a guy like Kyle Dubas, and it's like that whole thing, I think, and it happens in the draft too, where it's like there's this different case study that someone's not super supportive of, or it's outside the realm of what's normal.
Will's just trying to say he's the Kyle Dubas of scouting because he's the nerdy guy with glasses in his 30s. Yes,
Well,
is that what you're doing?
Dubas was in his 20s when he got going, so he's got a bit of a head start on me. Um, but the point I'm trying to make is that, like, if you have something that's off the beaten path a little bit or a little bit different, you're held to a significantly higher standard. And if you screw up one time, then everyone's like, see, it doesn't work. See, it's bad. Nope, doesn't work. He's actually a dumbass. Like, that's
People,
you know.
yeah, and like there are a lot more apologetic people towards what the Leafs are doing now.
Yes.
Which I can't even believe. It just blows my mind.
But it's because they have a cup-winning coach, and they have, they like there is a major problem in the world in general of anti-intellectualism. People thinking that people who study and think and really are nuanced and try things out are bad. Like it's not just in hockey. It's like everywhere. It's like, oh, I can't
like you and me.
Yeah, exactly.
So they must be evil.
Exactly. Like it's nuts to me. Like it's like people who study and put in the work and really try to have a nuanced understanding of a subject are seen as like losers, or if they screw up one time,
you're a nerd.
You're a nerd. And if you screw up one time, then you're a moron. This whole time you've been wrong, right? And it's like the whole science is a liar sometimes thing, right? It's like, well, sure, but like it's better than flying by the seat of your pants, which a lot of people seem to be doing and totally content doing, or just like grifting your way into success or whatever you want to call it. But like, I think Kyle Dubas is a great example of how it's like not that he's big and flashy and showy. I think people think he is, but he's not. It's just a collection of moves that add up to be sort of little nudges in the right direction. And I think he's done that really, really well. I mean, and clearly the system that he's implemented there with coaching and development and everything, it's working well. I never in a million years would have thought Ben Kindle would be in the NHL this year and doing as well as he's been doing, but here we are.
Here we are.
How do you think the top 50 or 60 in this draft compares to the depth in the last 5 drafts? I've been under the impression it's deeper in the first few rounds. I mean, I think in terms of like, I always think about it as like, if I'm about to watch a game of a player, how excited am I to watch that game and get the data from it? Because that's kind of my barometer of like, how like deep I think a draft is, right? And for me, I mean, it's bigger than usual. If I'm watching games of even like guys in my second, third round, Tommy Blale, JC Lemieux, Beckham Edwards, even these guys who I don't like really, really like, but I definitely am still like interested in seeing more of them. Ala Lowry, Vandenberg, Haffley, Valentini, like all of these guys are really interesting, even if I don't think they're like, I can see them in the NHL right away. Whereas like the last season, maybe 2, if I'm thinking back well enough, like it kind of ended pretty quickly. Like by the time, like Cole McKinney was at the end of my first round last year, and I like Cole McKinney, but like I never put a game of Cole McKinney on and gone, yes, I want to see more of this player, and I really want to understand more about him and whatever. But like this year, there's a lot more of that. A lot more guys who I think are more nuanced and like have flashes of potential and upside and really intriguing abilities. And so in that sense, it's deeper, so to speak. But like, I think with like I don't think there's very many guys in this year's draft who are going to be in an NHL All-Star team every single year for the rest of their career. Like I don't think there's a whole lot of that. But I do think there are a lot of guys in this year's draft class who could make an all-star team here and there, score a bunch for their teams if they're in the right scenarios, be top 4 defensemen, and just eat some really good minutes. Like I think there's value in this draft. But I think if you're expecting world-changing, high-end, elite-level talent, I don't think there's too much of that this year. But it's an interesting year. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Like we're almost in February. Holy shit, we're almost in February. And I'm still going, like I'm feeling a little nervous because I still don't know what I feel about too many guys. And in a month, I'm going to have to start wrapping up some of these data packages and start finalizing everything. And I still don't know how I want to feel about all these players and everything. Like, it's getting to that point where it's like the rubber's hitting the road and we got to kind of start crossing the going over the hump and getting into the final stages of the year. And I don't like that this year. I think it's a little scarier, and I don't remember that last year at all, or maybe even 2024. 2023 was a lot of fun. I think 2023 was a really good class. 2020 was a really good class. 21 was interesting, but I wouldn't say I don't think it's the same. But this is an interesting year. There's a lot going on, I think. The reason Anaheim would move a left-hand defenseman is so Stein Solberg can come up. Minchikov doesn't fit a bottom pairing role, I guess. But again, like I don't think making room for an unproven defenseman is a good idea. Like, if anything, it means like maybe you move a Stein Solberg, because I mean maybe Minchikov doesn't fit a bottom pairing role, but like I don't know why that would be. I think I don't know. I think if Solberg gets you, or you could move Zellweger to the right side. Like, he's an amazing skater, so like you would think, and he played the right side in junior, I think. So maybe you could experiment with that. But with all those good young defensemen, I would probably try everything but trading them, unless something really came along. Like, I don't think there's a necessity, but if something came along that filled a hole in the lineup that I really wanted to fill, then yeah, I would do it. Do you think the U18s will be similar to the World Juniors in the sense that there are multiple teams with a realistic chance at gold? Yes. I mean, I think that's the case every year, right? Canada never brings their best players because they're all in the CHL playoffs. The U.S. brings the NTDP. I think the NTDP is underrated this year, especially their forwards. Their defense and goaltending might be a bit of a question mark, but up front, they've got a lot. The Swedes this year, I think, could be good. Finland will be good. Finland will have a good team. I think there's going to be a few teams that can throw their hat into the ring. Even Slovakia will have a pretty intriguing looking group. The Czechs, I think it's going to be a fun U18 this year for sure. The Canes invest a significant amount in amateur scouting to the point they elevated their scouting head to assistant GM. Yes, they did. I do know that. Telsky has said in the past that analytics is not nearly as useful in amateur scouting, so they invest significantly on eyes there. I mean, I agree. I mean, look, I've said so many times, I gather the data so that I hold my focus. Like gathering the data is more about holding my focus and watching things as carefully as I possibly can to understand what's happening as much as I can. Right? Because there's nothing otherwise you watch a thing and it's gone. You watch a thing and it's gone. You watch a thing and it's gone. I need that live feedback, that active learning, I think is a huge difference maker. But the data that comes up,
really seeing what I say I'm seeing.
Exactly. I can actually show that I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And in the case of analytics, though, it's I mean, I could look at guys who have the best analytics in my data set. You would be surprised at some of the guys that show up the best, and then I have them at 50, right? It's it doesn't really matter all that much. I don't really think about it that much. The NHL e-score that I track, I don't give a crap. I don't care. It's an interesting barometer, and it helps me focus attention somewhere. But with regards to, just because a guy...
crazy player comps that you see on Twitter actually even amount to anything?
No. Not really.
Remember, I saw one that Sasha Pastajov was in the Nikita Kucherov level developing, right? Come on, man. What are we doing?
No, I know. It's nuts. And so I agree with Tulsky on that. I think it is. I think it needs to be applied differently. I think you need it, but I think it needs to be applied in a different way, where it's it concretely identifies what you're looking at as a player, right? What are you getting? Right? It's, obviously there are things that you can quantify that are valuable, but it doesn't you have to, it's a different skill to extrapolate and go, well, but how, my whole thing, and I've said this a gajillion times, but my whole thing, people ask me about Byron Bader all the time. My whole thing, which was the logical summary or the following point after looking at his work and everything, I look at a guy where it's he has a 66% chance of being a star, whatever that means. I go, great, cool. And then you look at the historical comparables and you go, what are the similarities between the 66% and what are the similarities between the 33%? Because there has to be something in there that is more accurate that can show this as a better probability, or at least something that I can filter out guys and maybe put them in the 33% and bump the odds in the right direction. Even if some of those guys might actually belong in the 66, I still feel like overall I'm moving in the right direction by dumping them into the 33% bin, right? Like that's the directional thing I'm trying to do. So it's like, it's one thing to show well in a model, but like how, why, what
the hell is a star?
Well, but I mean, there's criteria for it, I suppose, in the model. But like the point is, like you try to dig into the factors that are secondary that go, okay, what are the things that drive these results, right? Like what is it that puts them in this category and they stay there and they end up there, right? And so over the years, you kind of need to do that. I mean, so analytics, in a way, for me, it's like a good way of identifying what is happening in front of my face. And so I can then turn around and go, well, I didn't see this player doing X a whole lot, but people are saying he's doing X a whole lot. And it's not that he doesn't do X a whole lot, but it just doesn't happen that often. And it gets lost in the sea of things that is good or bad that push my evaluation in one ear or the other. Like not all zone transitions are created equal. Not all shots are created equal. Not all assists are created equal. Not all anything. It's hockey. It's chaos. It's nonsense all the time. So you kind of got to dig a little deeper. And that's why my list looks a lot different than a lot of people. Like, I don't really care how much you score. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me that much. Like what I care is how you do it. How do you play? What's your style of play? And if you're rewarded for that good work, then that's great. And if you're not, it doesn't mean you're bad, but
it just means you're Brad Lambert.
Exactly. Which means you're bad. Apparently. Oh boy, thoughts on Matvey Kravtsov? Is that Victor's brother? Because I know the username. I know this username. It is Vitaly Kravtsov brother. Yeah. Well, maybe he'll turn out just like his brother. I don't know. No, I don't know. I mean, I think I've seen him play before, but not in a very long time. He's got one assist playing on a team with Ivan Fomin, so he must not be very good because if you share ice with him, you're going to score points, right? And points are everything that matters. No, I'll check him out because I do remember the name and I feel like I've looked him up before, but yeah, I'll add him to the list here. Okay. Since 1997-98, the Leafs are tied with the Bruins in 2012-13 for the highest face-off wins of all time. Well, there you go.
That's just Bergeron.
Yeah, true.
carrying the Bruins.
Yeah. What has been the most maddening game Leaf moment that AJ's ever seen? Oh boy.
Oh, it was game 7 against the Bruins, man. Like I literally said
one?
They're gonna win. No, the 2013 one.
Oh, that one. Oh boy. Yeah,
We bought a new television just for that game.
That was bad. That was a bad one.
We still have that television.
There you go.
I had to take a day off of school because I lost my shit. I couldn't go in. Like I was that upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse my language. But that's what happened.
Yeah. Why is Albert Smith so low? He is definitely a top 5 prospect. Well, judging by the fact that I know that you're a Latvian, I apologize for offending you. I mean, I think with Smits, I just don't buy that his game is going to work out the way that it is in the NHL. Like, I love him. Don't get me wrong. He's in a tier that stretches right to where you think he should be. He's in a tier that goes from 5 to 10. Like, he's a top 10 guy for me, no doubt. And if you want him at 5, I'll listen. I'm not against it. I wouldn't say definitely. I mean, I personally think that guys like Lawrence and Preston and McKenna are no doubt in my top end of the draft. But Smits, it's like, I love how he plays. I want it to work. I see like a Brent Burns type guy there where he can score and he'll push to the net and everything like that. But the tolerance for risk in a job like that is very, very low. And I don't know if I trust his skating ability to cover his risk as much as it should. It could improve for sure, but his game is very strange. And not many guys in the NHL play like that. I think he could do it, but it's not going to happen immediately. And I think with other guys, like I've seen the growth in Bjork and Gustafsson's game this year. I think they're right there with him. They're also 08s and he's not. Verhoff and Villeneuve, though, like you could convince me to go with him ahead of those two for sure. For sure. But it would be tough. It'd be tough. I think Villeneuve is excellent. I think Verhoff has a huge amount of upside and runway, but Smits is good. He's a good player. Every time, the Ducks. We talked about this earlier in the show, so that's why I'm responding to it. But about like giving up on guys, right? Like the Ducks gave up on Zegras and saw him struggle a bit and stomped on them, right? Like that's a big thing that I see happen all the time. Is you need to keep, and it's also why I track data too, right? Like it's why, because I'm watching the guy do stuff, and I go, okay, but like, yeah, they might have made a mistake. Like I look at Mathis Preston, right? Mathis Preston had like 24 controlled offensive zone entries or offensive transition entries that were controlled in the last game I did in like 17 minutes of ice time. Like that's a ridiculous number, but he had one really bad giveaway entering the offensive zone and trying to make a play, and it just didn't work. And so it makes you wonder, like, are people paying attention to that one bad giveaway and forgetting that 22 other times in the game he made really good plays that marched the game up the ice, right? He took a bad shot from the boards twice, but people totally ignore the 3 times he set someone up on the back door for a scoring chance and it just didn't go in, right? Like, so it's like you need to keep things in perspective. Kashawn Aitchison last year, really good example. Every 2 games you'd see him throw a massive hit and obliterate a guy, but then for every time that happened, there were like 10 or 12 instances of guys just blowing right through him and getting right to the net for scoring chances. So it's like one sticks out a lot more, but when you balance everything together and you take the look at the actual information that comes out of it, then you kind of go, yeah, like there's a little bit more going on there. So with the Trevor Zegras, it's like, yeah, like you kind of need a guy like that to have the puck and try things and be creative, because he's going to make mistakes, but I'd rather him try stuff that could lead to offense and does lead to offense and make mistakes once in a while than a guy who plays it safe all the time and just plays down to everybody else's style of play and doesn't really try to move the needle enough because it's safer that way. It's all about it's all about risk tolerance and the actual results. To be fair, Tavares got injured and Matthews' wrist needed to be repaired in the offseason, and Carey Price was amazing. Sure. I mean, yes.
That's just cope.
That's cope.
They choked. It's as simple as that. They choked.
Would Zane be the good version of Klingberg or Klingberg now? I mean, I think he has a career like a Klingberg. Like Klingberg had a few years there where he was one of the better offensive defensemen in the league and a power play quarterback and all that stuff. And he still produces, but not so much anymore. But he's also like, 35? He's my age, I think. Like, I don't know. What do you think the Flames should do with the $10 million man Huberdeau? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
No idea.
There's a 2-point separation between Toronto and Pittsburgh, and Toronto had to deal with a lot more injuries. Are seeing Toronto's a disaster versus Pittsburgh? Yes. The Toronto Maple Leafs get outshot like 2-1 every game. The Penguins do not. The Toronto Maple Leafs have won a lot of games this year that they definitely should not be winning. Look at Toronto was last in the conference like a month ago. Like maybe firing Mark Savard, they turned a huge corner and everything's going to be fine now. But I think that just looking at their position in the standings, I don't think it's guaranteeing anything. I don't think they're the worst team in the Eastern Conference by any stretch, but I also don't think that like they are in a better position than a team like Pittsburgh. I don't think so at all. Like just because they're 2 points apart, like sure, but you put this Toronto Maple Leafs team in the first round of the playoffs this year, I don't think it works.
It doesn't. I
don't think it'll work. It just, the way that they play, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I mean, but if Austin Matthews scores at a 70-goal pace for the rest of the season, then maybe they'll figure it out and he'll carry them to wherever. But
when did he ever do that in the playoffs? As much as I love Austin, and I'm the biggest Austin Matthews apologist,
Right.
Don't get it twisted. That is my job. I am the Austin Matthews apologist.
Hockey is a sport where if you get outshot a lot, you long term probably will not win a lot. And the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Minnesota Wild, for that matter, have been outshot a lot this year, and have won a lot. And it's like, and it's like the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2012-13, they made the playoffs, and I think they were one of the most heavily outshot teams in the league. And so it's like,
I didn't notice.
Right, but like,
but I should have.
But but that's kind of the era where like analytics was really shown as like valuable, because a lot of people on the internet were like, the Leafs are winning games they absolutely should not be winning. And then they get to the playoffs and it's like, oh my God, they're up in this series and they might actually eliminate the Boston Bruins. And then it all regressed all at once and they fell off the wagon there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like watching those two teams and seeing where they're at. It's very, very different. They're very different scenarios, even if they're close in the standings. Isn't it your job to predict Kindle playing in the NHL? Well, yes, that's the thing.
You're not this fast.
I'm not surprised he made it. I had him ranked really high, but I am surprised he made it this quickly. Yeah, I mean, look, they make the NHL when a coach says they do, and that happened sooner than I thought with him. I don't know. There's the Southern teams are the most friendly environments for Dubises and Telskis of the world. It's no surprise that Telsky, despite originally being a Flyers blogger, started in Raleigh and not Philadelphia. I mean, I agree to a certain point on that. I think that's fair. I think there's a lot more necessity with those teams to be like, we need to be cash effective. We need to be efficient. Every dollar we spend needs to go a long way to make it work here. And so they have to go by the numbers. They have to go by mathematically, like, forget about narrative, what's going to work out the most per dollar. I think that makes sense. Can you give a brief summary on how you track and watch? Do you pause as you track them in game? Yes. I'm pausing and rewatching games all the time. Like, honestly, the most guys I can get through in a day is maybe 7 or 8. And it's like, that might not sound like a whole lot, but I'm watching their tape constantly and rewatching and rewinding and recording and checking my data and everything all at once. So, I don't do a hyper multitask, as you say, but I am pausing and rewinding and rewatching and doing everything all the time, watching these guys play. So I reprogrammed the MIDI controller that I've had for years that helps me now track data quicker, which actually has worked out really, really well so far. As long as I programmed it correctly, which I'm 99% sure I did, everything's going fine. So yeah, I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Why would the Ducks rush a 20-year-old Stein Solberg? I don't know. They haven't yet. People need to realize the draft prospects don't make the NHL until they're 21 or 23, even though they are fully finished products until 25. Exactly. I mean, yeah, like, you don't know what you got until you got it, right? So, like, be patient, right? Like, making a move to make room for a guy who hasn't played a single game doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think any NHL team would do that. They're going to make it a competition, and if someone comes along with a good offer, then maybe you do it then. All right. Is Mathis Preston this year's Cullen Potter, except he's a winger? I mean, kinda, sorta. They're similar. I think Potter is like a much better and more consistent skater. He gets up and down the ice insanely quick, and Preston can, but often doesn't. So they're different, but in terms of like skill and offensive upside, yeah, I think it's still similar. Why is Gleb Pugashov that low? He might be better than Ivar Stenberg. Yeah, exactly. One interesting thing I found when it comes to player acquisitions, the riskiest signings are long-term contracts to good to very good players in the age range of 28 to 30. Risk goes down. I don't know what that means. Oh, the risk goes down with signings past the age of 30 because demand from normie front offices goes down to the point where veterans will often take less. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you're paying a ton of money for, like, it's so clear mathematically that forwards are generally at their peak. By the time they're 28, 29, it's kind of over. Like, they kind of just peter out from there, and then it really falls off halfway through that 8-year deal they sign. Like, that's the thing, is like a lot of, like, teams should be trending younger, if anything, if you want to really maximize their value.
You're telling me William Nylander's cooked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, Nylander might have a couple more years in him. And then if you sign him to an 8-year deal for $12 million, you might regret that, right? Like, that's the thing.
Nope. Never gonna regret it.
He's going to be 48 years old and still in the NHL.
I hope he's on the Leafs, making $12 million.
Yes. Love that even though others are dropping on him, you still have Lawrence second. Scoreboard watching doesn't justify his game. I agree. I mean, I think that with Lawrence, it's like it's kind of wild, right? Like people are giving Gavin McKenna a lot of rope with how he's played in the NCAA because it's hard to adjust to the NCAA, right? Like it's okay, it's excusable because he's adjusting to a different environment. But as soon as Tynan Lawrence makes the jump to BU and like doesn't score, it's like it's not the same forgiveness. It's like, oh well, he's just not ready. It's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. Teams are souring on him because of his NCAA play. And I'm going like, well, what if that's just a hard adjustment? Like what? Why is he's a 17-year-old who just
Let him.
Right, like he's a 17-year-old who mid-season, also after being injured for much of the year, jumps into a new college program halfway through the season, gets paired up with a Cole Eiserman, a top NHL draft pick, and it's like, good luck, kiddo, have fun.
My philosophy is let people just buy into these narratives where they are lower on guys.
Yeah,
That's what I did in fantasy hockey.
Yeah.
Like, or just you try and find guys who are more valuable. And honestly, if people think he's less valuable than he actually is,
right,
then he's really more valuable.
Yeah.
Because you can get him cheaper and at a better value. I didn't want to use the same word over and over again. You get him more cost effective.
Yeah. I mean, I think Lawrence is a great player. I think he is an extremely valuable guy to have on your team. And I mean, we watched a bit of him today.
He looked great.
He looked great. And I think there were some moments where he could have gotten on the point board. Like he could have, but
that guy's incisive. He goes around. He just he's a disruptor as well. Like there's a lot of method to what he does. And I can see how he thinks. It's like, okay, try and disrupt this. All right, make myself an option on a breakout or outlet to a teammate. Like he just plays in a way that I appreciate. I just think he does the right thing more often than not, and his head is just in the right place, and he finds himself in good position to do good things because he motors around the ice and he finds an opportunity to make an impact on a play, no matter what kind of impact that is. Like if it's a turnover, if it's a shot attempt, if it's a threat, like a dangerous pass, like he is threatening no matter if he has the puck or if he doesn't.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, the difference between him and a Gavin McKenna. Gavin McKenna is a threat on the puck, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I look at him and I go, well, it's funny that he's kind of on Boston University now. Of all the NCAA teams that could have offered him a deal that he took, I see a guy that kind of reminds me a little bit of Macklin Celebrini, but just not obviously not the same level of player. Like he's not as nearly as good a finisher. He's not nearly as good a playmaker, I would say. But in terms of his overall impact on the game and like how he does it, I think that's an apt description. Like a soft Celebrini type where I think you put him with some good finishers on his line. You sort of coach him and develop him the right way. You could end up with an excellent top six center in the NHL, a guy who's really, really valuable. So at the end of the day,
these are valuable, man.
At the end of the day, like I think he's tons of value and tons of good work coming out of his game, and I really like him. And if people are falling out on him for whatever reason that they don't apply to other players, let him. That's fine. That's cool with me. You've mentioned Milan Sundstrom as one of the Swedish 09s you like. Is he better than all the Finnish top 9 forwards like Santala, Liljeberg, Karjalahti, or Fugelberg? I honestly have not seen enough of the Finnish guys to tell you. I do like Karjalahti. I know I've seen him a bit. I like him, but I can't tell you the answer. But Sundstrom's really good. We're not going to answer that question about the Leafs because we're over time, and I'm not going to subject AJ to that. What can you say about the Rucks? We kind of did that earlier in the show. They're solid, but I don't have them super high. Is there one Italian food dish that you haven't had that you want to? Well, I don't know. No, I probably don't know it exists.
Honestly, I do not know.
I don't know. I don't know what Italian food I haven't eaten.
Neither do I. I've had so much.
I've eaten a lot in my life.
Exactly.
I ate crickets once. That's how deep I've gone. Crickets, they're pretty good.
That's not Italian.
No, it's not. No.
Don't slander Italian food by putting crickets in the same breath.
Yeah, crickets are pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed my experience.
Really?
Yeah, I liked them. They were very salty. They were very salted and dried. So it was like really weird potato chips kind of, but with protein. Anyway, we don't need to talk about my experience eating crickets. Carolina technically has the 5th oldest roster in the NHL, but the key is that all of their young guys are core pieces locked up long term. Yes, exactly. I agree. Anyway, well, we've run over time, but we're gonna call it. This was a lot of fun. AJ, thanks for joining me. We'll do more of this taste test of the 2026 NHL draft class and talk about your findings.
Sure. I don't know that I'll be available for Monday.
Okay.
Also, things are always subject to change now.
Yes.
Which is fun.
We have Tony though. Tony's coming on.
Oh, you do?
Yep. Tony's coming on Monday. I talked to him today. Because we're gonna do a little thing tonight in the Discord server for Scouching where we're gonna watch some video that I've pulled and everything, and it's gonna be some fun and poke around a little bit. So if you remember, definitely join us for that. And but Tony can't make it for that. I asked him to. He can't make it for that likely. So he said instead he'll come on the show Monday and we'll talk about whatever it is we talk about. So we'll see him. We'll see him then on Monday, and he'll make up for AJ's absence then.
It's probably not, because I have a weekend overnight this weekend. Like I have one, and then the Monday it's a 7 to 3, and the next day is a 7 to 3. So
well, all right then.
It's gonna be tough.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks for joining us. Again, scroll up in the chat if you want a link to the finance channel that we've started percolating around and all that stuff. If you want to see what that's going to be all about eventually when I start doing stuff on it.
Just make sure you always say not financial advice.
I'm going to say it is financial advice all the time because I'm no coward. Actually, no, I don't want to go to jail, so I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. No, but at the end of the day, it'll be fun.
You take a Calci sponsorship.
yeah. Yeah, well, whatever pays the bills, right? I'll huck for prediction markets and get what is it they said? It's like trading on insider knowledge is something we want because we want to reward people who have information or something like that.
It's the shadiest thing I've ever seen.
The shadiest thing I've ever seen.
It makes sports betting legal in all 52 states.
Did you see the clip? I saw it on TikTok, but I don't know if it made the news. But I think it was Chris Hayes, the reporter in the States. He said he went on Colbert a couple days ago. Like he did an interview with the Colbert Show on the show. And he's like, the thing about that show is that they record it in the afternoon. It's not live. They air it late, but it's recorded in the afternoon. And he goes, I got a text message from a reporter after the recording was over. And he said, you should check on Polymarket. You can bet on the first topic you bring up on the Colbert Show. And he's like, what? And he goes to the prediction market, and there's like $50,000 riding on the first topic that gets brought up in the interview between Colbert and this reporter. And the interview had already happened. It was over, but it was predicting what the first one was going to be. And he said by the time the show aired, it was up to $1 million. So like literally anybody in the audience, anybody working for the show, if they went to Polymarket, easy money. You could put, if you recorded it by phone, somehow broke your NDA, whatever you want to call it, and just listened to the recording back afterwards and found out what the first topic was, and you put money on you would win because it's already happened. So the only way I guess it doesn't happen is if they re-edit the interview to like put a different segment first and it changes up whatever. But the fact that it was
Colbert's gonna make a ton of money. He's just gonna re-edit the segment.
Stephen Colbert bet $1 million on it himself. Yeah. But like that's crazy to me that there's that you can predict a thing that has been pre-recorded and people were there for it being pre-recorded. Like that to me is whack. That's wild. But at the end of the day,
guys, don't do that.
Don't do that stuff. It's a good way to lose money. It's a good way for you to probably lose money, and yeah, not a great thing that we've built, I don't think. But in any case, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to leave. We'll see you.
Bet on is this show being on Mondays and
Yes,
Thursdays?
Monday night.
Mostly.
Night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, not until the Olympics, I think, is our schedule going to change. The only reason I probably would change the schedule is if because any day now I'm becoming an uncle, so I'm going to be running around doing stuff around then. So I'm gonna,
Uncle Bill.
I might be on call for changing the schedule of the show, but for the time being, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we'll have Tony Ferrari on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll be back. We'll be back then. AJ, thanks again. Any parting words, or do you just want to get the hell out of here?
You'll either be there to see a baby delivered, or you'll have a baby on stream. I love you, Tony. You're my favorite.
A big bald baby.
Big bald baby.
Big bald baby. Yep. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you Monday night, and have a good weekend. Party on.